there, guys. Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Friday, the Friday installment of the John Campea Show podcast. We're so glad you're joining us here today. My name, of course, is John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
By Jonathan Voico. Friday. I forget that every time you do it. But most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, well, that's when we take your live comments and questions. If you guys have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or topic you'd like me to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Now, when you do so, remember, you are doing that to send us a tip and support us, but as a thank you, we'll answer your question or topic as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show. But here's the good news about the tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to our podcast, say on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching the show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a tip. And if you send one in when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, guys. That all down? Little Heidi Ho, go Leafs, go! Leading their series 3-0. But let's get things started with this. Speaking of things I like, and by the way, Cassip sends in like 10 gifts, 10 memberships. Thank you, man, so much. Wow, that's a great way to start the show today. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Speaking of things that I really like Idris Elba. I really like John Cena. I really like Jack Quaid. Especially after I see him in a couple little films here recently, including Companion and what was that one he did? Novocaine. Yeah, and of course The Boys. I love him. So you tell me that you're going to get a little movie together and you're going to put all three of them into it and it's going to be an action comedy. You've got my attention. And that's what we've got with this new movie coming to Amazon called Heads of State. Now, the good folks over at Joe Blow, they've given us a little summary of what this movie is about. Here's what Joe Blow writes about it. Here's the official plot of Heads of State. The UK Prime Minister, Sam Clarke, played by Idris Elba, and US President Will Derringer, John Cena, have a hard time picturing him as US President, but then again, look at the world we live in, have a not-so-friendly and very public rivalry that jeopardizes their country's special relationship. I can't imagine an American president doing things to jeopardize their relationship with other nations. I can't imagine that. Anyway. But when they became the targets of a powerful and ruthless foreign adversary who proves more than a match for the two leaders' security forces, they are begrudgingly forced to rely on the only two people they can trust, each other. Ultimately allied with the brilliant MI6 agent Noel Bissett, played by Priyanka Chopra Jonas, who, quick fun fact, and actually sat in a private box with her and the other two Jonas wives at a Jonas concert.
Oh, nice.
Once. So that was pretty cool. Anyway, they must go on the run and find a way to work together long enough to thwart a global conspiracy that threatens the entire free world.
I mean, it says it's a summary, but I kind of feel like that's the entire movie. Like, I feel like the movie itself is a summary of itself.
Yeah, man, there's not a lot of depth to this movie. I don't think you're coming in to a movie like this with a lot of depth. But anyway, like I said, I love Idris Elba. I love John Cena. I love Jack Quaid. This trailer is shit. Oh man, this trailer's awful. I am so excited to not watch this movie. I can't wait to avoid this movie.
I'm going to watch this movie.
I knew you would.
Because I like the Christmas movie that they just had. It's only.
But I want Ray to give us his review of it.
Yeah, it's only on Amazon. I do love, I don't know what this says about John Cena. I'm not trying to say anything. I do love when he plays like the arrogant, like the arrogant.
Oh yeah, I love when he does that.
Yeah,
it was a very kind of it feels like a very peacemaker kind of performance, which I love him in that.
Wait, now that you remind me, I was like, these two have pretty good chemistry. It seems.
It's
but
almost as if
because
they
they've
were
been in
they
Suicide
were in a
Squad
movie together.
That's right.
I keep forgetting.
They
and
shot a lot of people together in Suicide
Well,
that
Squad.
was the best part, I
You
think.
blocked a lot of that movie out.
Maybe this is secretly a DCU movie.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe this is secretly where their characters became heads of state and now they got to go on one more mission.
I just love that Air Force One is just a regular plane. It has no security on there, no nothing, no security measures.
What are you talking about? You didn't see the guns come out of it and blow the drones out of the sky and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, I thought that was coming out of the enemy plane that took them
that
down.
was Air
I have
Force
to say,
One, yeah.
I actually thought that was the enemy plane
Yeah.
too. I was a little confused with the action there.
Okay, I
You know
thought
what
that
you
was the
don't
enemy
see in the
plane.
trailer?
What?
As the drones are heading towards Air Force One, Eagly comes and takes out the drones.
No.
There's
See? I got it.
Forgive me
I
for
got
not
it.
being very I haven't traveled everywhere in the US, but there's this shot I was talking with Jonathan about. I was like, why is there a American fire truck in what seems to look like a place like maybe in Brazil
Or Eastern Europe.
if you go through it. I know I'm very
Are you sure it was an American fire truck?
I'm very, very not like this usually, but when a trailer has me trying to find things, it means the trailer did a bad job.
Yeah. I loaded up this trailer so ready to eat it up and love it. It's just bad.
You know,
It's just bad.
I like these two actors so much, and I like them together so much that I will give it a shot, at least a 30-minute try, the first 30 minutes. And you know what? I usually end up finishing it anyways.
You know what? As much as I just said, I'm so excited about not watching this movie. What you just said is very true. I love Idris Elba, and I've grown to love John Cena and Jack Quaid so much that despite how truly awful this looks,
Yeah.
I think I'd be being dishonest to myself if I didn't admit I'll probably, at least like you said, check out the first
Well,
30 minutes.
look.
I'm ashamed to say it, but I probably will.
It is the director of Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, that's the big see. When that came out, like it starts off from the director of Nobody, I'm like, oh yeah,
He did
here we
Hardcore
go.
Henry. So at the very least, there may be some really cool action sequences.
Maybe.
But none of that I saw in the trailer, like Hardcore Henry or Nobody. Like,
Yeah,
Nobody
didn't
is
see
very
much of that in
violent.
the trailer.
Very violent. I think they try to go a little bit maybe before that line is crossed. I don't
They
know.
probably were hiding a little bit of that if it's there.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't know when it comes out. Did it say?
I think it's
don't know.
May 22nd or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm gonna give it a shot. I like these guys.
I mean, it is on Amazon, so
Yeah.
I mean, there it is. But it is funny. It should be pointed out that we just got back from CinemaCon last month, where Amazon, for the first time, went to CinemaCon and put on this big presentation of all these movies they're putting out theatrically. I don't think it's some coincidence that they chose, out of all the movies they're putting out in theaters, I don't think it's meaningless that they decided not to put this one in
and
theaters.
there
I mean,
lies the problem.
The premise is quite ridiculous. The U.S. president and the British prime minister are action heroes.
Well,
It's like,
I mean,
okay.
listen, lots of movies have done that, right? It's not like they're trying something completely far-fetched that has never been done before. Hell, there's a movie with not Octavia Spencer, but why am I freezing on her co-star from The Help?
Oh.
Iconic. Anyway, she's in a movie called the G6 or something like that. She's in a movie right now that's out right
Yeah,
now, where
Viola
she's the
Davis?
president
Viola
of the
Davis.
United States, and she's
That one looks
actually
terrible too.
Yeah, Viola Davis. That's who it was. It was Viola Davis, where she's like the president of the United States. Do you see that? And the bad guy is the dude who plays Homelander in The Boy. It's called G20. I said G6. The guys in the live chat correct me. It's
like a
G20.
G6.
So
like a-
she plays like the president of the United States, but she's a badass warrior, and well, like, so it's been done before. It's just that I could have gotten into that if they didn't do John Cena's character the way they're doing him. But I don't know. Anyway, we need to move on. We need to move on from this. Guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the trailer? I can't even remember the name of the movie now.
Heads of State.
Heads of State. See? See? Have you guys seen this trailer for Heads of State? If so, what did you think about it? I mean, I think Ray's right. I'll probably, just because I love everybody in it so much, I'll probably at least give it a shot, but I have zero hope for this. I don't know. Maybe you liked it. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? The Accountant opened wide this weekend.
Yeah.
Now, I had a chance to see it a couple of weeks ago. We already did our review of it. It's a lot of fun. Go see The Accountant, guys. I had a really good time with it. But another movie opened this weekend, Until Dawn. The little horror video game movie adaptation came out. And I confess the trailers look kind of fun. So last night, I decided to go, and Ray went too.
Yeah.
Decided to go check it out. Here are my thoughts of Until Dawn. It's not a very good movie, but it was fun. I had fun with it. And you know what? I'm not surprised at all going to Rotten Tomatoes and seeing that it's basically split. About half the critics like it, a little over half, 54% right now. About half of them didn't. And that's exactly right where I kind of expected it to be after I saw it. Because listen, I said in my Out of the Theater review, does this movie do anything particularly smart? No. Does this movie do anything particularly creative? No. Does this movie add anything to like bring something new to the horror genre? No. Is almost every horror movie trope you can possibly think of, including multiple uses of the phrase, I'll go check it out, which is the stupidest thing to say in a horror movie. Absolutely dumbest thing to say in a horror movie. All the cliches, kind of an uninspired climax. Like the way they ultimately resolve everything was a little bit underwhelming, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, the kills were creative. There was some legitimately pretty funny moments. The gore was top notch. Full marks for the gore. The gore was really, really good. Some decent, like you can't have a horror movie like this without some jump scares. I had a couple of decent little jump scares. The creature designs were all pretty good. And so when you combine that with some classic horror tropes, the gore, the creativity in the kills, all that kind of stuff, I would be lying if I did. I would be dishonest if I didn't say that I actually kind of had fun watching it. Now, would I wholeheartedly recommend this film? No, not wholeheartedly. But if you're somebody who's kind of in the market for just a dumb, fun, 90s style B-grade horror film with some great kills and some laughs and stuff like that, this could be a decent night out. Now, I will say that I saw another critic, I think it was Jeremy Johns, who said that, here's the thing. It's hard to really get into a movie like this when you legitimately don't like any of the characters. And I gotta say, that's completely accurate. I didn't particularly like any of the characters.
Yeah, but
like none of them were particularly likable.
But they played what they were supposed to play, that type of personality.
They each played a stereotype.
They played it well, at least,
character.
well enough. You just didn't like.
The performances were fine.
Yeah.
The performances were fine. They just didn't write the characters to be particularly likable. And so it's hard to get like really into it. So now I wanted to touch on this, saying that, it's not a great movie. It's got a lot of weaknesses, but at the end of the day, it was actually kind of fun and I enjoyed it. But as I knew the moment that I posted my Out of Theater review, because I've seen it all over the place, is this thing of, it's not even the game. It shouldn't even be a movie. If it's not accurate to the game, then it sucks and blah, blah, blah. Listen, what I would say to that is this. I and 97% of the general movie-going audience had never played and never heard of this game. I'd never heard of this game. Now, I'm not a hardcore gamer, but I dabble in gaming. So I'm kind of an average person, right? I never even heard of it. Its ability to be just like the game is irrelevant. I know people who are fans of the game don't like hearing that, but it's the truth. It's irrelevant. The movie is the movie. The game is the game. You have to be able to judge everything on its own merits. And as somebody who just went into this movie Until Dawn and knew nothing about the game, had not even heard of the game before this movie was coming out, I gotta say it's kind of fun. I agree. It's about a 54%. It's right around half the critics like it, half it don't. Fully expect that. It's kind of fun. I don't give a shit what the game is. I really don't. Because if I cared about what the game is, last night I would have downloaded the game on my PS5 if it's on PS5. and I would have done that. But I don't care about it. I cared about going to see a movie. And so I evaluate it in terms of a movie. And then I get these people say, but it's an adaptation. Doesn't matter. Even if it is an adaptation, you still need to judge it on its own merits. If we wanted to follow your logic, then let's look at Captain America Civil War, a movie that many people consider one of the best comic book movies ever made. It is very much not at all like the Civil War comic book story. It's got thematic similarities, sure, but it's completely different. Do we then go, well, then Civil War sucks. Why call it Civil War if it's not going to be just... Because it's a movie. It's taking inspiration from the comic book story, but they made their own movie and made it as good as they can. With Until Dawn, they took inspiration from it. They even had some cast people from the game in the movie, and they clearly took inspiration from it. I asked a friend of mine last night who saw my Out of the Theater review, and he was talking about the game because he had played the game. And I asked him this question because he mentioned it's really not like the game at all. I said, okay, but let me ask you this question. If the movie wasn't called Until Dawn and you went to go see that movie, would you have thought of Until Dawn? He said, yeah, honestly, I would have. I said, well, that's enough. That's enough to me. So again, I don't give a shit if it's like the game or not. I went to see a movie to see a movie, and the movie was okay. If it was just like the game, that doesn't make the movie any better. If it was completely different from the game, that doesn't make it any worse. It is what it is. So I just thought it was kind of an interesting case study on that. What did you think about it?
Well, we're gonna hear that a lot from anything from PlayStation Productions. I mean, they said that about Gran Turismo. They said that about Uncharted.
And Gran Turismo was really enjoyable. I liked Gran Turismo.
I've enjoyed everything,
Yeah.
even including this movie. What this movie doesn't, it's a hodgepodge of everything. There's like a Happy Death Day, obviously.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of Descent, a little bit of a werewolf, a little bit of Exorcist. It's every horror type of movie
they can
in there.
cram in there.
Escape
Yeah.
room. They even have inner conflict like The Mist. I mean, but it doesn't do any of those like beyond, like, it doesn't exceed, you know.
Well, they can't possibly because they try to touch on so many horror tropes. You don't have time to really make any of them elevate because you're moving from one to the other really quickly.
And that's one of the important things. It's only an hour, 43 minutes. If I say you should go see it, if you've seen Sinners, if you've seen Minecraft, you've seen all the big releases, this is a good layover movie until the next big release, I think.
I think that's a good thing.
For your friends and couples, whatever. It's an enjoyable enough movie for you to actually go see.
I would echo that. I would say that, listen, what would I recommend you go see right now in theaters tonight? First, I would say go see Sinners. Second, I would say go see The Accountant. Third, I would say go see Minecraft, if for no other reason than it's a big part of the pop cultural conversation right now. And then fourth, I might recommend go to see this movie.
I don't know. Warfare's got to be in there too.
Oh, yeah, you know, Warfare's got to be in there too. Yeah, Warfare's going to be in there.
I would go Warfare over Minecraft, and then
yeah, absolutely, Warfare over Minecraft. But so it's down on the list. I'm not telling anybody they should rush out and see it. I'm simply saying that if you do go see it, get a bucket of popcorn, sit back. Bring some friends. It's not very long, and I think you might have some fun if you enjoy that sort of thing. Anyway, guys, the question is for you: what do you think about Until Dawn? Did you have a chance to see it? It's now in theaters. Are you even interested in seeing it? Whatever you guys thought, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of the bigger disappointments to me in the movie theaters lately was Captain America: Brave New World. Obviously, I look forward to all the MCU stuff, even though they've been very hit and miss for the last couple of years. But I always get excited about it. I love Anthony Mackie and all that kind of stuff. And I went to go see the movie, and I wasn't particularly thrilled with it. One of my problems with the movie, only one of them, there were several among many, but one of my problems with the movie was the fact that you had this villain in the leader who was supposedly such a genius. So, you don't even know how smart this guy is. And yet he consistently does things so dumb. Like consistently in the movie, he just does stupid thing after stupid thing, but he's so smart. But one of the things that didn't bother me about the leader was his design. I didn't mind his design. Again, it was a big departure from the comic book design of him, but there are several things in comics that can look okay in a comic book page, but wouldn't necessarily translate well to the big screen. And so in the movie, we ended up with this. And again, is that a great character design? Not great, but I didn't have a problem with it. It was fine. Well, now we actually have an official look of Tim Blake Nelson, who played the leader, in what was going to be his actual practical makeup for the movie. And it's this. This is an actual photo of Tim Blake Nelson in a makeup test for the leader. Now, this was put up by a company called Blue Whale Makeup, and they wrote the following. They said, the nature of filmmaking asks us to adapt, to respond with creativity rather than react with attachment. We were originally brought on to design and apply the practical makeup for the leader on the incomparable Tim Blake Nelson in Captain America Brave New World. As often happens in film, the story evolved, and during reshoots, the creative direction shifted. Our vision was ultimately not used in the final cut. Still, we remain incredibly proud of what we created. All right. I'll say the unpopular thing. I'm glad they made the change. I'm glad they made the change. I don't think the one they went with was particularly awesome, but this looks exactly like not exactly like. This looks much more similar to the comic book. This is much more comic accurate than the one they went with. I just don't think it looks all that good. But by the way, full marks to Blue Whale Makeup though, because what they did, I mean, that looks seamless. That's a wonderful makeup job they did on him. I just don't like the direction of it. I don't think it would have worked as well on the thing. Jonathan, what about you? Do you prefer, I mean, like I said, I don't love either of them. I would lean towards they went with for the movie, even though it was different, but do you have a preference between the two?
I honestly, when I first saw it, I kind of snickered a little bit, but I don't know, the more I look at it, I'm like, it feels a little more naturalistic. You know?
It does feel more natural.
And it feels like it flows from where we left him in The Incredible Hulk, right? That was The Incredible Hulk, right?
Yep.
Not Hulk, which was Eric Bana. Where his head was just kind of expanding, but it wasn't like the shape of a brain on there, and he's all deformed. Like, I actually am not opposed to this. Maybe it didn't have to be this pronounced, where it looks like he's a conehead, but I like what they were going for.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Uh-huh.
I don't like, if that's what they did in the movie, again, it wouldn't have made the movie any better because the movie wasn't very good. But I mean, I don't hate it.
I mean, that's what we got.
Yeah. See, the problem with that look is whenever I saw it on screen, I don't know, for some reason it reminded me of Snape's character in Galaxy Quest. For some reason, I kept thinking that. So, like, I couldn't take it seriously.
By Grabthar's hammer, you shall be avenged.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. And also, he looked like a broccoli in Daylight.
Broccoli head.
So, I do agree with Jonathan. It may have been cheesy, but I do think that look that they had would have worked for me better than what we got.
Maybe if it was 25%, like not like lower, then wouldn't be as pronounced.
Bring up the other look again.
Yeah.
The other Tim Blake
Here you
Nelson
go.
look. Like, maybe if they had kind of merged them a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, maybe if they had kind of done something kind
Where
of
it wasn't
in
so
between.
smooth?
Yeah, where it wasn't so totally smooth like that, but
But it
you
wasn't
did
just- yeah.
like you did give him a look like because the one thing that I was okay with the look was he looks like a guy who's had some kind of gamma radiation poisoning.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And on that level, I kind of dig it. But maybe if they had blended the two
It doesn't even.
looks.
The more I look at it, it doesn't even look so much like a brain. It just looks like tumors and, like you said,
Yeah,
like it's
radiation poisoning kind
but,
of man. Anyway, at the end of the day, even if the design had been magnificent and all of us loved
that
it,
wouldn't have changed.
it wouldn't have changed anything. The
It was just
movie was
It was okay.
a subpar movie.
Yeah.
It still was what it was. Still, anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think of the look of the practical makeup job they were going to do on Tim Blake Nelson? It's definitely more comic book accurate, but do you prefer it? Do you think it actually would have changed the outcome of the movie? I don't, but whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts? All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? My goodness, it's almost May. Once we're in May, we're talking about Superman only being 2 months away. We're getting close to being able to say Superman is 2 months away. My most anticipated film of the year. Cannot wait for it. However, for those of you who follow the news and all that kind of stuff very closely, and we did mention this a couple of months ago, but we haven't followed up on it. There has been an ongoing lawsuit, for those of you who don't know, between one of the relatives of one of the original Superman creators against Warner Brothers, claiming that Warner Brothers didn't have certain international territory rights to the Superman story they're doing, and thus would not be able to release the film in a number of big territories. And that's been ongoing and kind of hanging over everybody's head. As a matter of fact, we've had a couple of our own viewers, whenever we've brought up Superman the last number of weeks, so people saying, I don't know, how you feeling about that lawsuit? Like, well, the lawsuit is now done, and Warner Brothers has emerged triumphant as the outlets are reporting that federal judge seals the fate of James Gunn's Superman after legal battle. This is in Warner Brothers' favor. They wrote the following. Superman is widely expected to become one of the biggest movies of the year. I don't think it will be, but we'll talk about that later, when it flies into theaters this summer. However, a recent lawsuit puts the film's release in select countries, including the United Kingdom, Canada, and others, into question. Those are major markets where having a theatrical run is vital to the DCU project's box office prospects. Fortunately for Warner Brothers, a judge has ruled in their favor and sealed the fate of James Gunn's DC superhero film. As reported by Bloomberg, a federal judge has dismissed the case between Warner Brothers and Warren Perry, the nephew of Superman co-creator Joseph Shuster. The estate of the late Shuster alleged that the studio did not have the rights to release the film in select territories due to an apparent lack of foreign copyrights to the original comic book storyline. With this ruling, Superman will be able to be released in theaters without a hitch in key markets such as the United Kingdom, Canada, Ireland, and Australia. Suffice to say, the Kryptonian hero won't have to resort to staying in his fortress of solitude. That was a terrible way to end that thing. I would fire that
They were
writer
just
immediately.
itching for a pun. They're like, I gotta fit one at the end here.
All right. So, first of all, good for them. I mean, there was some. Listen, if the judge had found that the assertions that the plaintiffs had held validity, there was a very real danger that several major markets would not be allowed. I don't think the United States was in question, but several major markets would be allowed. Now, you suddenly take those away, and the fact that it may not be able to play in China, given all the Terraforce stuff that's going on, that would be a real blow to this Superman movie. Now, do I think Superman, and you guys know we talk about this all the time, do I think Superman is going to be a massive blockbuster hit? I do not. I mean, I think it'll make money, but with all the baggage that comes along with it, a completely run into the grave DCEU that was just utterly ruined. The fact that a lot of people didn't like Superman lately, even though I think he was the greatest Superman of all time. Henry Cavill, my boy Henry. Mm-hmm. And I love Man of Steel. I still contend it is the most underrated comic book film of all time. But with all that, and it's the start of another, there's some apprehension, there's a lot of baggage coming along with it. See, the main job, I've said this before, of this Superman movie is not for it to become a big box office hit. The job of this Superman movie is to be awesome, change the perception, and set a positive perception of the new DCU so that future DC movies can be big blockbusters. Because if this movie sucks, God help Supergirl. That movie's going to have Supergirl's going to have a real hard time at the box office if this Superman movie is not a hit. But guess what? If this Superman movie is great and the audiences love it and the critics love it and it does decent at the box office, that will bode very well, because now the narrative changes from DC's been run into the ground to DC is back. Now, some people can say, well, with James Gunn there and the making of Superman, it's already back. DC is not back until they put out a movie that people love. It ain't back until they put out a movie that people love. So that's the job of Superman. So I still don't believe Superman's going to be $1 billion film. I think Warner Brothers understands this and knows it. I think if Superman can make 600 million, they will be popping bottles in Burbank. They will be popping bottles in Burbank if they make 600 million. Why? Because they'll know that they just made their prospects of future hits 1,000 times higher. 1,000 times higher. Somebody asked me, John, do you think Warner Brothers would rather have Superman not be very good but make $1 billion, or Superman be great and make 500 million? I said, unless you're a moron, you want Superman to be great and make 500 million because now you can make 10 billion over the next 15 films. But you drop the ball now, you're dead. And listen, that's why this lawsuit is still important, because if you want the word to get out there that Superman is really good, number one, you got to make the movie good. So hopefully they did that. But it's got to play internationally. It's got to play around the world. People in Australia, Ireland, Canada, UK, they're not going to know Superman's back unless it can actually play in their theaters. So it's a pretty big thing regardless. So, I mean, good for Warner Brothers. This is a major win for them. This thing had been kind of hanging over their heads a little bit. And to have this all cleared up now they can just focus on moving forward and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. It is what it is.
I remember when Endgame, before Endgame came out, I was on YouTube and I was watching like reactions to the trailers. And I remember there was like one of my favorite ones it was all reactors from China, like reacting to, and just to see the amount of Captain America gear they had in the rooms and Spider-Man gear. I think it's very important for this character to reach like those levels in order for it to be that $1 billion thing, because you'll get the love from the U.S. Superman is a U.S. But in some areas, I don't think this character is loved as much as Captain America. I was shocked to see people in China like having the Captain America mask and reacting and like being so into the character, especially because it's of the character's name. I don't mean to get any, like into any like thing, but it is Captain America, right? So it's just really cool to see a character like that reach beyond the U.S. and people love the character for what it stands for.
Yeah. So
Superman, I think hasn't. It's either been there and just faded away, or it's never been there. I believe what I'm trying to say is international. It is very important for DC to reach those territories.
Well, yeah, especially if they want the DCU to have long-term success. And again, for the people who would say to me, no, Superman's got to be $1 billion film. Yes. If you're really short-sighted and all you're thinking is about your next move, then yes, you want Superman to be $1 billion film. You think it's important that Superman is $1 billion film. However, if you think big picture and you're not worried about the extra 300 or 400 million you can make on this movie, you're more focused on the extra 7, 8, or 9 billion you can make over the next 6, 7, 8, 9 years, then you understand that. Now, of course, would Warner Brothers like it to be $1 billion film? Of course they would, obviously. But again, in the scenario, would Warner Brothers rather have a Superman movie that gets lukewarm reception but made $1 billion, or gets rave reception and makes 500 million? Well, obviously they would like both. They would like the rave reception and the billion. But if Warner Brothers had to pick between the two, 7 days a week, they pick rave reception from the audiences and the critics and $500 million, because then you can build on that. If you got a lukewarm movie, you ain't building on nothing. So it's a difference between being short-sighted and looking small picture and short-sighted, or being big picture focused. And Warner Brothers is going to be big picture focused on this. Anyway, guys, question is for you. In order for any of that to have meaning, it's got to play in theaters. And now it's been cleared. A judge has ruled and thrown out the case against Warner Brothers so that Superman can play in all the international territories. How big of a deal do you think that is? I think it's rather significant. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is obviously taking your live comments and questions. So, Jonathan, what do we got up first?
We got Crazy Joe regarding Toys R Us, the movie. Spirit Halloween, the movie, came out several years ago, creating the movies about store genre. And the Spirit store in the movie was an old Toys R Us. Didn't know about that one.
I've never heard of that.
I never knew they
Me
made
either.
a Spirit Halloween movie.
Was that like a direct to Roku movie or something?
They went
Direct to
lower
TV.
than the lowest right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not Apple, not Netflix. Was this like direct to Roku?
Yeah, like if you own the TV, you can watch it. It's free.
By the way, I gotta be careful. I've got friends who work at Roku. I love Roku. I have like 3 Rokus. Don't get mad at me. But I've never heard of it, so I'm not sure about it.
3 Rokus in the trash. I'm sorry.
All right, what's next?
Okay, we got the McWhopper with a $20 tip.
Thank you, McWhopper.
To yesterday's Toys R Us topic, I once worked many, many moons ago in hometown Youngstown, like the Bruce Springsteen song, Youngstown, Ohio. Also, the city where the Warner Brothers were born back in the 1900s. But man, I really miss those yellow price tickets when shopping for NES games. Oh, the nostalgia.
Yeah, listen, I still highly question the wisdom of making a Toys R Us movie. Because I have a lot of nostalgia and love for Toys R Us. I already told the story yesterday. I won't repeat it. But yeah, walking down those aisles, and every time you go down the aisles, it was an adventure. It was a mystery and an adventure. What were you going to discover? What great toy or game were you going to discover down the next aisle? But can you make a movie out of that?
Look.
I don't know, man.
I want to go back to the Spirit Halloween. It came out in 2022. It starred Rachel Leigh Cook and Christopher Lloyd. And it's about them being locked inside the Halloween Spirit store. So,
And where was it?
Or Spirit Halloween store.
Where was it? Where was it? Like, was it in
where did it
theaters?
release?
Was it on?
Oh, I don't
Does it
know.
show on the poster? It doesn't even show on the poster.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
RevMatt, age on a crew with so many great shows. I know your TV backlog is substantial. Wanted to make sure to recommend Adolescence. Hard watch, but acted and shot brilliantly. Each episode is one continuous camera shot.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's amazing. That's absolutely phenomenal. Like, I was blown away when that one episode of The Studio did the entire episode in one continuous shot.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Then when I got told that this Adolescence show does that all the time, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to Adolescence because I got a lot of stuff in my backlog right now, but hopefully I'll get to it at some point. All right, what's next?
Mike says, greetings, Campy Crew. Conclave is having a massive spike in viewership on streaming. Do you think if the Pope passed during Oscar season, it would have impacted even increased Conclave's chances of winning?
No.
Might have brought more audiences to the theater. But
Yeah, would have got more. By the way, not just that, but that other movie, that really good movie called The Two Popes.
Oh, right.
With Sir Anthony Hopkins, and I think the guy who played like the religious leader in Game of Thrones. Remember the guy who
Jonathan Pryce.
Yep.
is that his name?
Yeah.
He played the Pope who just passed away, and Anthony Hopkins played the Pope that he succeeded. And that's a really good movie, by the way. Two Popes is a really good movie. And yeah, apparently both of those movies really spiked, but particularly Conclave because we're about to have a we're about to have a papal conclave.
Yeah, it's on the nose. Right?
Which happens like once a generation.
Yeah.
So but that did but no, I don't think it would have increased its Oscar chances. All right, what's next?
Anonymous is actually Bryce directed one episode of
Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett. The other one everyone likes was Dave Filoni's only directing credit that season. Also, and I love Bryce, but let's not forget her contribution to Mando was the worst episode, the Jack Black and Lizzo.
Oh, was it?
Oh, she also her episode in Mandalorian 2 where it was like that world where the people like lived in the field swamps, right. And Mando shows up and helps them rebel against these guys who had that was great. And I didn't know that she directed that episode, but like Chris Carr, I defend that episode. Is it one of their better episodes? No, but and remember, she didn't write the episode, but I don't know. Like, listen, all of season 3 was a waste. All of season 3 of The Mandalorian was a waste. But yeah, she's done some really, really good stuff in there.
It wouldn't hurt to give her a shot. I think she's done enough good, like from what I see, with what she's done with Star Wars than bad, I think.
Yeah, and she's been on. I mean, she's been on movies and in movies and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. All right, what's next?
Nick V with a two-parter. Hey, John and crew. This Sunday would have been my mom's 61st birthday, but she passed away from cancer last
Oh,
year.
I'm so sorry to hear that, man.
so young.
5 days after my birthday, the same day Deadpool and Wolverine released. Your show has really helped get my mind off it and through work. After hearing your mom had passed too, I instantly knew how you must have felt. Just wanted to say I appreciate everything you do. I'm glad to hear that you and the show will be sticking around a bit longer. It helps many of us get through our days.
Oh, thank you for that, man. I really appreciate that. I mean, a little personal thing that's going on with me is, you know what? I'm not going to talk about it. Anyway,
Yeah.
but I'm so sorry to hear about your mom, man. And yeah, I can absolutely relate, obviously. So thanks for sharing, dude. And thanks for being here. We appreciate it, man. And the kind words. All right, what's next?
We got James UK says, I'm really looking forward to Thunderbolts. I wondered if you have any ideas about the asterisk. Personally, I don't think it means anything, just that we're talking about it. Otherwise, it could be related to Sentry's power of a million exploding suns.
Yeah.
I didn't know it.
I think it's an asterisk specifically because it's an asterisk.
Yeah.
I think it's, but again, now a bunch of fans bought tickets and were able to go see it on that special fan day that they had. A lot of the critics saw it, so a lot of people now know. I still have no idea what the asterisk means. The one big dominant theory that's been around for a few months is that the asterisk is that the movie's not actually called the Thunderbolts, and like right before the movie comes out, they're going to change the name of it.
Nah.
Clearly that didn't happen. We never thought that would happen, but that had been a popular theory. So as of right now, I do not know. I've seen Michael say it's been leaked on the internet, so I've been avoiding it.
Yeah,
So I don't want to go see it. I don't want to know, but we'll find out next week, Thursday, 6 days from now. I'm going to go to the AMC, what's it called?
Not
Town Center in Las Vegas.
Oh, right.
Town Square.
Yes.
I'm going to be at the Las Vegas AMC Town Square next Thursday.
Yeah, I got mine too.
Going to see Thunderbolts. I'm very excited about it.
I'm seeing it at 5:05 p.m. at the Burbank 16.
Nice.
in
All right.
Dolby.
What's next?
Viking, hello. Went to the cinema the other day. Had to endure 30 minutes of commercials, which included an ad for a streaming show, an ad for the theater I was sitting in, and a trailer for the movie I was there to see. What a waste of time. That's weird. Were the commercials though before the trailers? Like sometimes, I mean, how early were
like
you?
here's the thing. I want to go now. Hey, I'm gonna give. This is just another example of how AMC screws with you. 28 to 30 minutes is normally how long you got to sit through commercials before the movie actually starts. If the showtime says 7, generally speaking, it'll start at 7:28, 7:29, or 7:30. So whenever I bring up the whole issue about these trailers, people go, "Well, John, just go late, so you don't have to sit through them." Well, that would be a viable strategy if AMC was consistent, because last night they threw a curveball. Because I went to go see a movie at AMC a couple days ago, and it was 29 minutes of trailers. I went to go see Until Dawn last night, and I just happened to be at the theater early, so I was sitting in the movie theaters, but the movie started 21 minutes after start time. So if I had done my normal pattern of coming in like 25 minutes late, because then you're still catching a couple of trailers and then the movie starts, I would have missed the first like 5 minutes of the film. Mm-hmm. It's just another. And again, why is AMC showing me 3 commercials for AMC before the movie starts? They'll do our AMC Dolby projection 30-second to 1 minute long ad. Then they do the buy a Coca-Cola at our AMC concession stand with a with that couple racing cars and dancing together.
They love each other.
And then, as if 2 AMC commercials wasn't enough, they show us a third fucking AMC commercial that we've all seen a billion fucking times with Nicole Kidman. God praise her name. She's great. I love Nicole Kidman. But yeah, like literally 3 commercials for the movie theater I'm already sitting in. Explain that logic.
But did you get a Coke?
Well, I had a Coke before the movie started. I think
that manager's out to get you.
Yeah,
because maybe. I have counted consistently, unless it's a Fandango special engagement, at the Burbank 16, it's 22 to 23 minutes every single time.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, what's next?
Anonymous. After finishing The Pit, I searched for Patrick Ball, Dr. Langdon on IMDb. Shocked to see that prior to The Pit, his only acting credit was a guest spot on one episode of Law and Order. Dun dun. Dude is a great actor.
Who is it?
Dr. Langdon.
I don't know who it is.
He's Patrick Ball on The
Again,
Pit.
I don't know who that is either.
So look up Dr. Langdon.
I'll
The Pit.
see if I can look it up. Oh, the young kid.
Oh yeah.
The young guy. Yeah, he was really good in it. He was really good. Yeah, I liked him in. I'm not surprised to hear that he doesn't have a lot of credits yet because I didn't recognize him from anything. So that doesn't surprise me, but he was really quite good. Actually, there was not a single weak performance in The Pit. It's going to win. Well, I don't know how many wins, but it's going to get a lot of Emmy nominations. The Pit is going to get a lot of Emmy nominations.
Good.
All right, what's next?
Got Raymond Verrata, rest in peace for Pope Francis. It seems Conclave is now popular on the news. The movie is now getting a big boost on Netflix. The author says the Pope in the book is based on Francis. His successor is supposed to be Filipino, and there's a Filipino among the cardinals. Oh, in the book. Yeah.
Oh, in the book, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, yeah. The Philippines has a cardinal, so there's always a Filipino amongst the cardinals. But yeah, I heard that one of the strong contenders to be the new pope is a Filipino guy. I don't think we've ever had a Filipino pope. The Philippines is a very Catholic country.
They're very,
Very Catholic country.
Very.
Now, I would like an Italian. Obviously, it is Rome, but and being Italian, but yeah, sure. Make the Filipino guy there. All right, what's next?
You just
Pope's so woke.
exactly.
All right, what's next?
Ray with $20 tip. Just finished The Pit. Huge Steelers fan. Love the relationship representation. Thank you, John, for the heads up. Noah, go home. Let yourselves cry. You'll fall. You'll feel better. It's just grief leaving the body. Man, I hope Noah Wiley wins an Emmy. Great show. He deserves it. I guess that was a line of his.
Yeah, it was. Listen, I don't know that he's going to win. And I don't know that he deserves to win. There's a lot of performances and shows we're going to have to see. But he will get nominated. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to get nominated. And it is kind of funny that it's in Pittsburgh because, like, my wife, Ann, she's big vice president of this big international marketing company. But their headquarters are in Pittsburgh. And Ann has to, every once in a while, she's got to fly out to Pittsburgh because she works remotely from here in California, but she has to fly out to head office every once in a while. And she's like, I know that place, and I know that place. So it's all.
Oh, so it's
kinda
actually
cool
shot on location.
Yes, it's actually shot in
wow,
Pittsburgh,
cool.
from what I understand.
Yeah.
But
That's
where is Dunder Mifflin?
Well, that would be in Pennsylvania.
Oh, sorry.
but-
Wrong place.
Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Wrong place. Sorry.
But I mean, now, whether they shot all the hospital interior stuff in Pittsburgh, that I don't know. They may have shot all the hospital interior stuff in a soundstage in Los Angeles.
Yeah. I mean, that doesn't even make
and
sense.
then gone to Pittsburgh for 4 or 5 days
Yeah.
of getting all their outdoor shots that they needed. But yeah, a lot of it was
Establishing
shot
shots.
in.
Yeah.
A lot of it was shot in Pittsburgh.
And also all the shots of that's not Scranton, PA. That's the Valley in LA.
And just so you know,
For the
in
office.
Parks and Rec, Pawnee City Hall
Yeah, that's Pasadena.
is actually Pasadena City Hall.
Nice.
Ann and I used, when we lived in Burbank, which is right beside Pasadena, we used about once a month, we would just go walk around downtown Pasadena. And whenever we would go to the city hall, one of us would inevitably start going, ba-da-ba-bum, ba-da-ba-bum, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. You know, a little Parks and Rec thing. Anyway, all right, what's next?
We see. Oh, your name says John Campea's retirement watch has been postponed for another year. Thank you for the.
Well, at least for another 6 to 7 to 8 months. Yeah, because I was going to retire anywhere between when Superman comes out and the end of 2025. That has been pushed at least to mid 2026. So there you go. All right. What's next?
Forbidden says, have you seen the trailer for the new All You Need Is Kill film adaptation? I noticed y'all waiting for Edge of Tomorrow too, but we might have to settle with this new one for now. Seems to take advantage of the source material this time around.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, is this? I don't.
I'm gonna go out. I don't know if this is true. I'm just going out on a limb. I'm gonna guess this is an animation. But yeah, I've not heard of this. So no, I did not see it yet. Wouldn't pretend that I'm actually interested. I want Edge of Tomorrow too. That's what I want. I want them to finally get around to. I doubt they'll ever do it now, but I would love for them to make a sequel to that. All right, what's next?
Hello, everyone. I don't understand why people are getting mad at the third episode of Andor. It's just say Star Wars and people get mad. It's getting me mad as a Star Wars fan. People saying this isn't Star Wars. We shouldn't fight. It was great and and emotional. And the show isn't for kids. It's Rebels all day.
Vast majority of people loved it.
Yeah, loud minority is like.
Listen, there's always going
we'll
to
find
be
this one thing.
like no matter what, there's always going to be things that people love that a few people don't. Like everybody loves Blade Runner and I don't. So like yeah, but you know it's always going to be that. So I don't know why. Don't worry about those people. Don't let it occupy you. Don't worry about it. It's irrelevant.
You
Doesn't
should
matter.
and you should never have to argue what you like. I mean, as long as you like it, then that's just keep it as that.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen, listen. This is just the facts. There is a small percentage of from a very very dark corner of the Star Wars fandom that had pre-decided to hate this no matter what. So don't worry about them. Focus on the majority of Star Wars fans. And anyway, all right, what's next? Oh, and by the way, there's also going to be people who aren't part of that very dark little corner who just like me. I watched Blade Runner. I didn't like it. It works for everybody else, but it doesn't work for me. There's going to be people who don't like Andor simply because, in all fairness, they just watched it and it didn't work for them. Mm-hmm. So don't make sure you don't clump all them into the same group. Yes, it's true. There are little, gutter chugs that were going to hate this no matter what. They plan to hate it. It's in their agenda to hate it. But there's also going to be people who just are legit, just watched the show and didn't like it either. And that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, what's next?
They're not invited to the Chandrilla rave. Anonymous says, one trope that I find annoying in movies is the protagonist that is too perfect and invincible. Examples would be Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious, Peach in the Mario movie, John Cusack in 2012, Finn Shepard in Sharknado. That's a pool. And Captain Marvel. Thoughts?
Well, the Captain Marvel one is nonsense. She takes her lumps. The only one in there that I really agree with is the Dominic Toretto one. And I say this as a big lover of Vin Diesel. But Dominic Toretto literally is infallible and completely invincible. It's insane. Like they literally did a movie. I can't remember whether it was 7 or 8, but they literally had a movie. Remember, Vin Diesel, when this thing started, he was just a dude from the block. Grease monkey, liked to fix cars and did racing and had a little pre-chant for petty crime on the side. They've gone from that to he can take on in hand-to-hand combat the world's greatest super spies. Yeah. All world leaders fear the name Dominic Toretto. And they literally did a movie where he was held captive and he was being attacked by a whole bunch of guys and using nothing but his arms.
Yeah.
He grabbed these chains and literally pulled the brick and concrete roof down.
Yeah.
I mean, he is literally infallible and invincible.
The next Fast and Furious, they're going to have to shoot him into a different planet to have his own life over there, like Incredible Hulk or the Hulk.
Yeah, he's too powerful.
World War Dom, baby.
World War Dom.
All the other ones, like they all take their licks, and all the other ones take their bumps, and all that kind of stuff. Like a lot of people sometimes complain to me that they made Rey, like in Star Wars, they made Rey like invincible. I'm like, what movie were you watching? The first time she confronted Kylo Ren, she got her ass handed to her, knocked out, and carried off unconscious on a ship. And then later when she did fight him, she was only able to overcome him because he was already suffered a mortal gunshot wound from Chewbacca's bowcaster. And he was literally bleeding to death. So a lot of times people will say, oh, these certain characters are made too perfect. And it's like, really, they're not. They're they take their bumps, they take their bruises, all that kind of stuff along the way. But Dominic Toretto is completely infallible.
They don't say it in the movies, but I believe Toretto's magic energy brought back Gal Gadot and Han.
Oh, you're right.
Like
it was the
they
power
never
of
explain
family
why
that resurrected all these dead characters.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Reggie says, of these three, which would you say is more essential for understanding Bucky's character? Winter Soldier, Civil War, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Doing a rewatch, I'd rank Falcon and the Winter Soldier 1, Civil War 2, then the Winter Soldier 3.
What is the Winter Soldier 3?
That is third.
Like he ranked where we learned Bucky's character.
But there is no Winter Soldier 3.
No, he's saying like the
Like
first
he
would be
ranked them.
Civil War. Like first, it's weird how he ranked it, but the first would be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Second would be Civil War, and third would be the Winter Soldier.
Like which movies did we see, or which things?
Okay, I think the movie to give you your best understanding. There's two different answers. The movie that gives you your best understanding of Bucky is Winter Soldier. That's where you really learn his background, his trauma, and all the things that make him what he is. The thing for you to best understand where Bucky is right now, going into Thunderbolts, is probably the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So to get your most complete understanding of Bucky, I think it's Winter Soldier. To kind of understand where he is right now, that's Falcon and the Winter Soldier. All right, what's next?
Got Obert Juan Canobert says, "Hey John, did you cast a shot in the new Predator trailer where Elle Fanning has the Wayland Yutani logo branded in the whites of her eyes? So not only an android, but an alien android. Chances we see xenomorph in the movie?"
You know, it's funny because I did an open mic the other day, and because we talked about the trailer, I said, well, clearly she's some kind of android because her eyes go white. Mm-hmm. And then on open mic, a bunch of people were saying, oh, no, she's an alien from Android. She's an android from Aliens because she's got the Wayland logo on her eye. I'm like, I've watched the trailer like 3 times. I never saw that. I'm like, are you sure? And some people sent me screenshots, and then I went back to the trailer and really looked for them. Like, oh, it is there.
Crazy. We about to get crazy.
Oh man, I had to zoom and enhance here with my special technology, but
yeah, it's on there.
There you go.
Nice. Let's do it.
So, okay, do I expect to see Alien? No, I don't.
Come on.
Alien references? Yes. But yeah, they are clearly keeping these universes crossed over. So that was really interesting. I knew she was an android of some kind, but I didn't put it together that she was a
This
Wayland
movie is
android.
so opposite of anything I've expected from it.
Yeah, completely agree.
But okay, we had Prey, we had Romulus. Now, if this movie does well, or it's a good movie, do you see
Another Alien versus Predator?
No, building like towards like a big universe where like that.
Like another Alien versus Predator.
Right.
I like how you told him no and then said yes.
No.
Yeah, the answer's got to be. I never would have thought that before. But again, with Prey being as good as it was, with Alien Romulus being as good as it was, 2 franchises that I left for dead, to be honest with you, then those 2 movies came along, kind of resurrected them. If this, what's it called? Badlands? Predator Badlands?
Badlands, yeah.
If this Badlands is on the same par as Prey and Romulus, and with them having
That
an
series.
alien android in there,
And the Alien series.
Alien Earth coming.
Yeah.
And that looks really good, then I think they've just kind of announced to the world that they might be setting the stage for an Alien Predator crossover again.
Yeah.
And I never would have thought that would be possible, but here we are.
All
right.
2, baby.
What's next?
Oh, we got JP. Hi, just got to watching The Last of Us Season 2. As a person who played The Last of Us 2 on release, I saw the leaks months before, so opinion was skewed, but I'm really starting to sympathize with Abby nowadays. My dad was shocked, but saw it coming. Great adaptation. I felt so much pain even years later. Great show. I even got the 4K of Season 1 today. Another
nice.
show, Rob would be proud of you. Another show to keep on the lookout is for Life is Strange, if it gets made.
Oh, yeah.
First game is a masterpiece, and it's been it's been in development hell for 10 years, but not shelved.
I don't think it's getting made. I think that's the last I heard, but again, take that with a grain of salt. I'm not really sure, but I know the only reason I've even heard of this game because you played it and you love that game.
Yeah, one of my favorite games of all time, I think. Yeah.
Would it make a good show?
Man, I don't know. I for me, I hate to say it, but I just want to keep it at the game. It's because if it follows the same structure, then there's no the part about that game is just the ending and stuff and the decisions you make and how, dude, there's a bunch of feelings in that game that I never thought I'd get out of a video game, but yeah.
All right. What's next?
We got Calamity J. Hi, John. I've seen Sinners twice, and it's my favorite movie 25 by a landslide with how good the film has been doing at the box office this week. Do you think it has a chance of a second weekend drop under 50%? Thanks for bringing on the filthy. Under is tough.
Under's tough. It is tough. I took a guess at 53%. Now, you do have The Accountant opening this weekend, and you've got Until Dawn. So you've got a little bit of audience fragmentation there. I mean, listen, a 53% drop would be great.
Yeah.
I don't see it doing an under 50% drop, but it's not, but I don't think it's impossible. Like, I don't think it's far-fetched to think it could take an under 50% drop. I wouldn't guess that it will, but it's in the realm of possibility. All right. What's next?
Okay, Blake, how does one get an invite to a Chandrillan wedding? Seems
know,
like a
right?
good time. This show continues to give us a glimpse at what the quality of Star Wars content can be. The possibilities are literally endless in that universe. Episode 3 is such good TV.
Yeah, I make no bones about it. I was very underwhelmed with episode 2. I didn't really like what they did with episode 2. But I thought episode 3 was great. Had all the Godfather vibes. I loved episode 3.
Can you skip episode 2? I keep falling asleep to it.
I don't think you should, because you
Okay.
never know. Like,
Stop
having
watching it
only
late.
seen 3 episodes, you never know when something that is in there might become relevant in like
Yeah.
episode 5 or 6 or 7 or something like that, right? So,
It's only 43 minutes.
I know.
Why don't you just watch like 15 minutes at a time?
yep, you'll be through it by tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Fanata Chat says, I don't know what kind of magic I've got, but every time I go to the movies, the theater is empty. Not just quiet, empty. Like the universe personally reserves a private screening just for me. Cheers, John and crew.
I guess it all depends where you go. I
Yeah.
mean, I know
And
the
when.
theater that I mostly go to, which is the AMC, what's it called?
Galleria 16.
Tyler Galleria 16 in Riverside, California. There's always a good audience there. Unless I go like on a Monday at 2 p.m. or something like that. But there's usually always a good audience there.
Yeah.
So
There's been
Depends
nights
on
where
what's
it's like
planned.
Burbank. There's been nights where it's been like Burbank. And I only say Burbank is because that's the most crowded theater, most hyped theater.
Burbank
Yeah.
Burbank AMC 16 is the second busiest movie theater in the
a great
country.
theater.
Yeah, it's a great
Miss it
it's a
so
great
much.
theater. I do too. I really love that theater. All right, what's next?
Where's Blade? Says, hey, John, I saw a new trailer I hadn't seen before and within seconds recognized it as a Wes Anderson film. Having only seen Rushmore, wow. I'm not sure how else it could be taken other than his style has become a meme. That being said, I'll probably check it out.
Yeah, what's it called again? The something. It starts with a P. The new one. We just talked about the trailer the other day, and I can't remember the name of it now. But yeah, it doesn't look good. And listen, I love so many Wes Anderson movies, but his style.
Phoenician Scheme.
Yeah,
There it is, the Phoenician Scheme. He's become so reliant on his own style that it's becoming memeable. Like, again, I go back to this. Back like a year or two ago, when that irritating fad of people making trailers as what if Star Wars was set in the 60s, and they would
Right,
use
they used
IAI to make these terrible trailers. But I remember this one really popular one was, what if Star Wars was made by Wes Anderson?
Right.
And it was just a total meme of everything stereotypical and all the little gimmicks of Wes Anderson. And then I watched the trailer for this, and you know what it looked like, Jonathan? It looked like an episode of The Studio if they were working with Wes Anderson to make a movie.
It's become meta.
It feels like a fake movie.
Right.
It feels like a trailer that would play at the beginning of, why am I forgetting the name of the movie? Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
It feels, you know, they have the fake trailers at the beginning of Tropic Thunder. It feels like they did a Tropic Thunder 2, and there was this make-believe Wes Anderson movie, and this feels like the trailer you would make if you were making a make-believe. And now, again, the movie might be brilliant. I haven't liked his last couple of offerings. Like Asteroid City, I was not a big fan of.
And then
the French Dispatch, I was not a big fan
I liked
of.
portions of it.
It had its elements.
My last real big one that I loved was the hotel, what's the hotel?
The Grand Budapest
Grand
Hotel.
Budapest
Yeah,
Hotel.
that's great. That movie's great. Anyway.
But you're right. It's almost like I love his style, and I get it, but it's like you're such a good storyteller. Expand from just doing one thing. Like,
yeah. You've got. It seems like you're a one-trick pony now, and you are better than that.
It's been Wes Anderson condensed and boiled down, and this is what you get every time.
Yeah, you know what? a lot of people loved Isle of Dogs, and I didn't particularly love Isle of Dogs either. As a dog guy, I didn't really love Isle of Dogs either. Anyway. All right, what's next?
Where is? Oh no, wait. Just read that with doubled up. All hail the Hypnotoad. I feel like Regina George here with Hollywood. Stop trying to make John Cena a thing. His track record is awful. 28 movies listed on Rotten Tomatoes. 22 of them, fewer than 80 of critics liked. The remainder 2 are cameos, and box office 3 movie higher than 500.
He's entertaining, and he draws in a certain audience. There's kind of like a baseline guarantee you get when you go with a John Cena right now. And listen, you can't hold the guy responsible if a lot of stuff he's in isn't good. He doesn't make it not good. A lot of stuff he's in, but like you look at stuff like Peacemaker, which he's really found his name, but there's also a couple of other things he's done that I really like him in. So yeah, he has an appeal. He definitely has a following. I mean, hell, they just made him the WWE champion again. For the 17th time?
17th time.
Which I think ties the all-time record with Ric Flair. I thought Ric Flair was 17.
16 time.
Ric Flair was 16.
Yeah, so that's why it was a big deal that he won this last
All right, so
one.
he's the all-time most winningest WWE heavyweight champion, more than Hulk Hogan, more than anybody else. So he definitely has a following, man. I mean, so yeah. But you know what you're getting with him. That's the thing. You know what you're getting with John Cena.
Maybe they cut back on maybe him being the title character in movies for now, if I don't know, but he's always great. I always enjoy him in a movie.
Yeah. Even that, what was that really bad movie they had on Netflix recently
Where
that
he's
he did?
Ricky Stenicki?
Yeah.
Ricky Stenicki. That movie is awful.
Sounded great.
But he wasn't bad in it. He played the role and he played it well. But at some point, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, keep him in his lane is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's
keep him in
only a
his
certain
lane.
amount of things you could do in acting.
All right, what's next?
Zelda Master says, so thanks to you guys, I started watching Severance this week. Just started the first season.
Just finished the first season.
Oh, finished. Yes. Can't wait to start season 2 after the Wolves win game 3. Oh, come on.
They might.
Yeah, the Wolves are. I am very scared of the Wolves.
Well, the reason you gotta be scared. Look, I had a conversation with a buddy of mine before the Lakers Wolves thing started. There are many teams you can play against where you can easily compensate for not having a big. When you're playing Rudy Gobert, your team is at a severe disadvantage unless you got a really skilled big. And they don't. I mean, listen, all respect. Who's the kid?
Jackson Hayes.
Jackson Hayes, man. You know what? He is overperformed. He is overperformed, but he's still young. He's still not an all-pro or an all-star.
Yeah, man, they pushed him in the starting position like when he wasn't ready. I mean, he's doing as much as he can for the experience he has.
Yeah, again, I think he is overperforming, but you're in trouble. And if Ant-Man starts getting hot and going off, and if Austin Reeves goes cold, which he often can, then the Lakers could be in trouble. Anyway, and don't forget, the Timberwolves going in the playoffs, their last 21 games, I believe they were 17-4.
Young and hungry.
In the stretch.
Yeah.
They're young and hungry.
Young and
talented.
hungry is what I'm scared of.
Yep.
That's any team with that.
Anyway, sorry, what was the real question?
It's
Season
about
2.
Severance. He started. Can't wait to see
Oh,
Severance.
yeah. Severance is amazing, man. Severance is so good. That was such a revelation. I mean, I didn't even like the first episode. I almost tapped out in the first episode and convinced me to keep watching it. And I'm so glad she did because it gets so good. And I'll be honest with you. I like season 1 better than season 2. There were a couple of episodes of season 2 that I didn't particularly dig, but as a whole, it's still a very good season.
But
very,
season
very
two,
good season.
season 2 does have Trammell.
And it ramps up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, what's
It ramps up.
his name? The guy who
Mr. Milchick?
Mr. Milchick.
Oh, yeah. He really shines in season 2. All right, what's next?
Aron says, hey, I'm meeting Bryce Dallas Howard at Liverpool Comic-Con next week. and
Nice.
I don't know what to get her to sign. Any ideas? I'm a big fan of hers, but not the biggest of Mandalorian or Jurassic World. And I love X-Men. What to get James McAvoy to sign?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just whatever you get them to sign, it's fun. One of my favorite geek out moments, because I've been in this business, a long time, but I am still very cognizant that I am an absolute nobody. And so I still geek out a lot. And I still remember, honestly, it was after I think it was after Bryce Dallas Howard's episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, where I just like raved about it. Like seriously, what she did in the midst of that terrible show, and she brought the only stuff like really worth watching, and she was so great in it, and I enjoyed it so much, and blah blah blah. And I didn't talk. I waited till like a year after it happened before I ever revealed it, but a couple of days after that, I actually got a note from Bryce Dallas Howard, just saying she saw the show, and she was like extremely nice, just saying thank you so much for your kind words. I'm really trying to do this and blah blah blah. And I kid you not, like you'd think, you know, they say to tell rookies when they score a touchdown, act like you've been there before. Like don't freak out too much. That's not me, man. I freaked the hell out. The first thing I did after I got that note from Bryce Dallas Howard, I go running to Ann, look who wrote to me. Ah! Like I totally lost all my composure. I still have things I got, but yeah, I'm a big fan of hers. I like her very, very much, and she's such a sweet person. What's not to like about Bryce Dallas Howard? Get her to sign anything. All right, what's next?
Mr. I, this is our last of the tips. There's more than an alien reference in the in Predator Badlands trailer. No joke. There's an Independence Day alien skull in the trophy case in the beginning.
You know, somebody said
I saw that, and I just don't feel like it is. But maybe it is.
Yeah, I'm not so. Look. Could it be?
Could be.
Could be.
I didn't look at it like when you see the Wayland logo, you're like, oh, there's no mistaking that. Like there's no debating it. That's exactly what that is. I didn't feel that way looking at it at the Independence Day skull thing. I just thought it looked very alien looking, but again, it could be, but I don't think it's indisputable that that's what it is. But we'll find out. All right. Do we have any member questions?
Yes.
We got a little bit more time. Let's take some member questions here.
All right. Let me just refresh here because I forgot to refresh. And what happened? Oh, pop. Okay. Sorry.
By the way, I just got to mention this. One of our one of the people in the live chat, referencing back to like, what do I get Bryce Dallas Howard? Brad Jackson, one of our channel members, says, get her to sign a picture of Jessica Chastain.
Oh,
if you know,
that would
you know.
be really funny.
That's great.
I love all your work.
By the way, two of them together in The Help. I love that movie. All right, what's next?
Usher says, hey, John, I know you love Paddington series. You should go to London, England in the fall or winter time. They're doing a Paddington, the musical in the West End.
Not really interested in that, but my wife, Anne, went to London last year because AEW had a big event there, and our friend Nigel McGuinness was like wrestling at the big thing they did in Wembley Stadium. So Nigel's partner is Anne's like best friend Corey. So she went to London with them for that big event, and while there, she did the official Paddington tour.
Heck yeah!
Where she went to all the key places for Paddington, saw Paul King's house, all that kind of stuff, and she absolutely had a blast of a time. So if I ever get myself to London, I'm definitely doing the Paddington tour.
This looks adorable, actually.
All right, what's next?
We got Logan who says, can't watch live today because I'm seeing Revenge of the Sith at my local AMC. I'm right there with you about the first half of the movie, John, but once Order 66 happens, I love the rest of the movie. Enjoy your weekend.
It's a complete piece of shit from start to finish. Now, I will say this about the Revenge of the Sith. I will give this. Revenge of the Sith is the least offensive of the prequel series. And I'll even say it's better than, it's not the worst Star Wars. I mean, obviously it's better than the other two prequels. I would also say it's better than The Rise of Skywalker. But other than the other two prequels and The Rise of Skywalker, there's not much else that's worse than Revenge of the Sith. Maybe Book of Boba Fett. Maybe it's also better than the Book of Boba Fett, but there's not much else. And The Acolyte. I'll say it's better than The Acolyte, but that's not a high bar. Anyway. All right, what's next?
We got Dominic who says, on the open market, which IP would sell for more money if it was just film rights, Spider-Man or Batman?
Oh. Ooh, that's a good question. I'm going to say Batman. And the reason I'll say Batman is like, it's been more consistent theatrically, particularly when you're talking about outside the cinematic universe. So you got the legacy of the Nolan films. Matt Reeves is the Batman, which was a huge hit. Yeah, because here's the thing. Oh no, no. I'd have to walk that back if I said that. Yeah, listen, it's close. And if you ask me tomorrow, maybe I'll say Spider-Man. Today, I'll say by a hair, maybe Batman.
It's tough.
Anyway, all right, what's
That's
next?
a good question. Clayton says, just a quick question. After the Cinema United debacle, which I was unfortunate enough to experience myself, do you guys think there's any way they could win the fans back over?
Oh yeah. That's the great thing. Like you always have a chance to win people back. Like that thing happened. It happened. You're now in the hole with the fans. The good thing is you got tons of time to slowly and gradually win them back over. But again, I say this as the world's biggest supporter of Cinema United. I love this organization so much. But that's why it's important that I be honest and say they really fucked up. They botched that event so badly. And they need to figure out a way to get back in the good graces of film fans.
Before they do anything, I think the first thing they need to do is acknowledge that they messed up and actually.
I don't know if that would do any good.
I mean, it's just I just think it's like to completely ignore that they advertise things. I read the advertisement for it that they're saying they didn't even show anything of. So it's that's kind of foul to me, I think. But I don't know. I've never run a company before, so I don't know.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt if they came out and said, "Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are primarily an organization that we work with the studio industry and we are the movie theater industry. And our primary work is to work for advocating for theaters and working with studios and blah, blah, blah. And our special event we did was the first time we've ever done something just for fans. And yeah, I guess it showed that it was our very first time. And we recognize that we probably dropped the ball on that. But we want you to know we're going to work hard over, the coming years to make some more fan-friendly things that you guys will be proud to attend. You know what? Maybe that would be a good thing for them to put out. Actually, I know the head of PR for them. Maybe I should reach out to him and tell him exactly what they should do. Yeah. Actually, he's probably already thought of it. Anyway, what's next?
We got Zach. Love you guys. For Doctor Doom, what kind of power level do you think we're going to get in the Avenger movies compared to the comics? What I really wonder is if they're even going to go near the magical abilities.
Well, see, here's the thing. What level in the comics?
Right. I know.
The way Doctor Doom's been portrayed over the decades, in one thing, he's got this level of power. In this other thing, he's got a completely different level of power. So, there's really no consistency for what, number one, Doom's abilities and powers even are. Sometimes he's magical, sometimes he's not. Sometimes, I just don't know. But clearly, if he is going to be in the movies, an Avengers level threat, it's going to be on the more powerful side. It has to be. You can't just be at a power level where the Fantastic Four could just deal with you. No. This is an Avengers level threat. So they're going to have to lean really on the powerful side. Whether they're going to dip into his magical stuff or not, don't know, but we'll see. All right, what's next?
Joe says, hey, John and crew, hope your day is going great. I had gone back and saw the trailer for Predator Badlands. There is a connection to Wayland, and it just blew my mind. Wanted to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, we've already covered that. So yeah, I never saw it the first time. I just saw the whites of the eyes. And it took some of our viewers to send me some closer up shots to go, oh my God, that is there. And then I went back and looked for it. And yeah, so, they're clearly opening up the world.
There you go.
All right, last question of the day.
Okay, Colin says, just got back from Tokyo for Star Wars Celebration. No matter what's happening in Star Wars Celebration is always an awesome event because it's just that, a fandom celebrating what we love instead of stewing about the things we hate.
Yeah, now look, I have not kept it a secret that I think Star Wars Celebration or any Disney sponsored event is a waste of time. But take Disney out of it. Is there benefit? Is there an upside for just getting a bunch of positive fans together to be fans together? Yeah. Listen, I got to say, my favorite thing about Comic-Con is some Comic-Cons, like Ray, you know this, Many Comic Cons I'll go, and I don't even go to any of the stuff. I'll go to Comic Con and not go to any of the Hall H panels and not go to some of the big special events. Sometimes I do, oftentimes I don't. So why go to Comic Con? The reason I love going to Comic Con is because honestly, there's something great and nourishing and wonderful for the soul to just go and be around 100,000 people who are just there having a great time. Like you look around and there are people there at Comic-Con in San Diego that have like literally saved up all year, been planning all year for their trip down to San Diego, and they're dressing up. Some aren't dressing up, whatever. And everybody's smiling and happy and they're engaging with each other. And I remember the first time I said this was to Ann like a decade ago. I remember saying we were in San Diego like 10 years ago. And I said to Ann, I love being here because it just feeds my soul. Being around this many people who are just this happy and this positive and like strangers high-fiving each other as they're walking by each other and all that kind of stuff. Like there's just something good for the soul to go and be a part of a weekend-long event like that.
And it's strange to have like such a great amount of people and never hear of any fights happening. All the years I've gone to Comic Con, I've never heard of any fist fights or any violence.
Yeah, I'm sure there has been.
There has been, but
people,
I mean,
but not many.
Yeah,
like you get that many people together at a sporting event, you know there's going to be some
or
problem,
something,
someone's gonna
right?
be.
Something.
But like, and again, my experience is a Star Wars celebration. I've been to a lot of them. I think the Disney stuff is all shit, but the fans just being able to go there and be around thousands and thousands and thousands of other positive, enthusiastic Star Wars fans and just get a chance to love what they love together. I see the benefit in that. I really do.
Yeah, just wear deodorant, folks. Come on.
Yeah, just
that's all. That's my only issue with any of those events.
And beware of the con crud, as John Schnepp used to say. Beware of the con crud, because everybody gets sick coming back from those cons. Anyway, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because it gives great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Guys, make sure you come back. Join us on Sunday night for our Last of Us post-game show. We'll probably be doing that somewhere around 7:30 p.m. Los Angeles time. I hope you guys will come back for that. And then we'll see you again next week. I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora.
Have a good weekend.
Jonathan Voico.
See you guys.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.